Hi everyone. How do I start this one? Um, let's start with talking about the disease to please, right? In our society, in our community, we are raised to be polite young people, right? We are taught to say yes and go along with the flow and not rock the boat. And, in doing that, and especially as women and girls, we kind of have to almost go along with the flow. And in doing that, we get so used to just always saying yes and sure and why not. Whether we're asked to help out with something or whether asked to do something, we don't ever learn to say no. And somehow the message is that if we were to say no, you are going to be selfish and you're going to be disrespectful and you're going to be, just inconsiderate, and how dare you, right? And I could not disagree with you more. So here's my thought on this. I think it's very healthy to say no when it's something that's not good for you, when it's something that you're not comfortable doing, when it's people that are unhealthy for you. Say no. It's as simple as that. To me, being able to say no to things is a very healthy act of self love. Okay? So, a whole bunch of things are going in my head as I'm trying to talk about this. I mean, this applies to so many different areas of our life. So let's start with something simple that happened when I woke up this morning. I had posted something about Cory Booker's grilling off one of Trump's people, and it was just about this whole shithole country comment, right? And I apologize for cursing, but our wonderful president used those words. And I posted that, and my comment, my Facebook thing said, it takes, what is it, for good people, for evil to prosper, it takes for good people to say nothing, somewhere along those lines. So, uh, you know, I am not a big fan of President Trump. Unfortunately, he is my president, but I'm not a fan of his. And I respect if people voted for him. I know many people who did, and I respect that, right? All through the elections, and back and forth, with so many people. It didn't go so much engaging, but it was just amazing to me that people, really were for his ideas. And so, I didn't want to block people or do any of that because I wanted to keep an open mind, and as not so that I would change my opinion, but also just to have an open dialogue because presidents are here for 4 years and then life goes on, right? And hopefully somebody else takes over. And it's not so much the Republicans that I have an issue with. I would have been happy to see any of the other Republicans that were on the panel as elected. I just don't care for President Trump. Okay. So it is what it is for many, many, many reasons. And, but I've never publicly stated my opinion as to why I'm not a big fan of the man. But anyways, clearly if you read my posts along the years and along the months, weeks, whatever, and I've tried to stay out of and make a public statement, but today was just it. So I posted that, and I woke up to 4 or 5 comments from a gentleman that, was on my Facebook. And he is obviously pro-Trump. He is a minority per se, but, has served in the military and is all pro-Trump and, went on and, to make comments on my wall that I'm not even going to, dignify by responding to that. But what I did immediately was I deleted those comments, I unfriended him, and I blocked him without even a thought, right? Because where I am right now in my life, I realized I just don't have to put up and deal with negative energy. Simple, right? Why should I? I don't have to. So he is entitled to his opinion, absolutely. I just don't need that in my public space, in my energy field. So I've decided, and it made me just think about, all these other people that, are, I respect that you have a difference of opinion. I respect that you have different values and different ethics. No problem. I'm sure we can sit here and talk about, marijuana. I'm sure we can talk about mental health. We can talk about abuse. We can talk about a lot of different things. And, we will disagree on things, which is fine. Your right to do what you want to do with your body is your right, right? But I have a right to protect my energy field, right? So I realize that I'm just not going to allow that in my world. So, if you are someone that if I unfriend you and if I block you, don't take it personally, because guess what? If I offend you and if my videos are too much and if I post too much, block me, unfriend me, no problem, guys. I've had a few people say, well, you post too much and you blow up our feed. And my response is, no problem. Just block me and unfriend me. I'm okay with that. No issues whatsoever. Because, at the end of the day, I respect your right to want to control what you allow into your space, right? Just like I have a right to control what I allow into my space. And, Brene Brown did this, a while ago. Well, she said, if you are someone who's going to criticize and just stand and, do that, if you don't have anything constructive to say, and you pull, she has a live, whatever, of Facebook thing. She said she's just going to block people. And, I get it completely get it. So here's my thing, if I find things to be unhealthy, I'm just going to block that out because I don't want that energy in my life. Because this is about me putting my space first. How can I teach my children, my loved ones, my people to put themselves first if I don't teach by example, right? Why would I? Don't put up with abuse. Don't put up with garbage. Learn to set boundaries. And I was texting a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine from work, and he messaged me this morning, and I texted him this, and he reminded me that what I was doing was setting boundaries. And I thought, oh, you're right. Of course, wonderful therapeutic tool. I didn't realize I was doing that, right? And so, this just brought me, and I had a couple conversations with a few people today, and it's just about setting boundaries. What do we allow into our world? What is okay? We teach other people how to treat us by what we accept, right? If something is not acceptable to you, don't put up with it. Simple as that, right? Now, I can already hear some people saying, well, sometimes you're in a relationship with people, sometimes you're married to them, sometimes you're born out of them, or you're siblings with them. I hear this so often, there's a lot of negativity, but, I'm related. This is family or whatever. Listen, I respect family. Blood is thicker than water. I will sit here and quote you 10 different of those things. And I respect that. But I also know that, what's healthy is healthy. What's unhealthy is unhealthy. And that's as simple as that. And nobody can decide that but you. So if it's unhealthy, cut it out. Why are you putting up with that? You can distance yourself from people that you don't want to associate with. You can distance or if you can't physically distance yourself because you're living with the person or you're married to the person or whatever it is, then learn to set boundaries, guys. Then learn to set boundaries. Learn to say, no, please do not speak to me that way. That is unacceptable. Please do not treat me that way. That is unacceptable. No, you may not do something which is against my ethics and values if it affects me. But it's about taking a stand, I was talking to someone today and, their girlfriend broke up with them and, they were upset that, very, very sad because didn't want to be alone, right? And my response was, they're doing you the biggest favor. Say thank you and run for the hills, right? Learn from it. Say thank you to this girlfriend of yours who's obviously serving as a teacher and a master. Now, mind you, I've been following and working with this person for a little bit. And this was coming. The writing was on the wall. Nothing had changed. It's just that, when people break up and get back together, they very conveniently sort of sugarcoat their worlds. And they forget that the problems that they had have not gone away if you haven't addressed it, right? You're just starting a fresh, you're in the euphoric, infatuation stage again where you're reworking on your relationship. And, what changed? Nothing changed. You just got a fresh start and in the lovey-dovey stage. But the problems are going to resurface if you don't address them. But it's about setting boundaries, right? I'm coming back to this. I'm deviating, and I apologize for that. Say no. It's as simple as peer pressure. If you don't want to do something, don't do it, right? If it's not something that's healthy for you, don't do it. Say no. Walk away. Wouldn't you rather walk away and feel good that you were true to yourself versus compromise who you are just to please somebody else? Let me repeat that. Wouldn't you rather walk away from a situation or a person or a event and be true to who you are versus go along and compromise your ethics, your values, your who you are, and then feel bad about that? I mean, at the end of the day, it's about being able to face yourself in the mirror and being true to who you are, right? That is hard enough as is. Very difficult journey, you know. I mean, and it's because again, I come back to this. It's this disease to please, you know, guys. If you cannot be true to yourself, you cannot be true to anybody else. If you cannot be fiercely in love with your every cellular being, and not to say, I mean, I'm in love with who I am, right? That doesn't mean I don't know my flaws. I know my cellulite, and I know my big booty, and I know my short temper, and I know, you know, the things that piss me off and tick me off, and I know chocolate is not my friend, and sugar is not my friend, and yet it is what it is, right? I have my weaknesses and my flaws just like anybody else, but I still love myself. For whatever reason, I'm in a place in life right now where I'm fiercely in love with who I am and what I'm about and how blessed I am, and the God-given, you know, blessings that I'm granted, and the love in my life that I have. Everywhere I look, I'm so grateful for this amazing life I have. But how can I then, if I'm loving myself, then I can extend that to other people, right? But if I'm sitting here and criticizing, and trust me, I just named a bunch of stuff that was wrong with me. Does this mean that I'm sitting here beating myself up about it? No, because if you've hung out with me, you know I don't do that. Okay, I kind of let things slide, and I eat the chocolate cake, and I enjoy, you know, the sugars and whatever. Like, it is what it is. It's a work in progress. But the point is, you know, you can't extend to others what you don't extend to yourself. Okay, we all want to teach our loved ones, you know, our kids, our children, you know, especially moms, guys, moms. You know, we always want to teach our kids to love themselves and have good self-esteem. And my question is, do you? How is your self-esteem? Do you like who you are? Do you love who you are? Do you respect the person you are? And are you constantly working to improve? Are you okay with that? You know, and so the bottom line is, guys, you know, learn to say no, learn to set boundaries, say yes to things that are important to you, say yes to things that matter to you. Just because you're asked to do something or help out on some school committee or this committee or that committee doesn't mean you have to say yes. It's perfectly okay to say no. I'm sorry, no, I can't. Say it with me. No, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm just not able to do it right now, but I wish you all the best. So anyways, I truly believe that saying yes to yourself is an act of self-love. It's a spiritual practice. It's a spiritual practice because it's about being true to who you are. And who you are is God incarnate, right? We are God incarnate. Absolutely. Does that mean you're God and I'm God? No, not technically. We're not God in his magnificence, right? But we are God incarnate, because what is our spirit? What is our soul, if not a chip of the old block, which in this case happens to be God, I think. You know, that's my belief. So, you know, love yourself, because loving yourself is a spiritual act, is an act of worship to me, ultimately. Anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. I hope this has been helpful. And as always, if you have any questions, please inbox me or message me on here. Let me quickly see if there's any comments. All right. Sharon Doe, I hear you. I hear you. Sharon Doe says, I absolutely agree. I've reached the point of protecting my energy, fiercely protecting your energy. Absolutely, I agree. All right, guys, thank you so much. And as always, if this has been helpful, please share, and take care, and God bless. Bye.